Hello, what's up, everybody? I am Jovian Zane, founder of the International Day of Purpose, and I am so excited to be with you today or tonight or wherever you are in the world. I'm just happy that you sat down for this chat. So you all know it's been quite a time for the last 15, 16, 17 months. And for many of us, we're trying to find our way into this new season. So I join you on that journey of finding your way into the new season. And because we knew that this year's Day of Purpose would feel differently because of all that we have been through collectively and individually, we thought this year, the fact that we have come through a pandemic and are still coming through it, we are coming to terms with the racist history in America and many other parts of our world. We are coming to terms with what it means to try to grapple with understanding how we take better care of our planet. We take better care of ourselves. What does reentry into the work look like? There are just so many questions that we are grappling with, again, individually and collectively. And so for many of us, we're trying to figure out, what does reclamation really look like? What is it that we need to reclaim for ourselves in order to walk through the new season with more confidence, conviction, and yes, joy? And I'm one of those people. For many of you, you know, I started 2020 in a new phase of life as I entered into motherhood. And so Georgia and I, my partner, we have been parenting for the last 17 months. Yes, our daughter is 17 months. Oh, Lord. 17 months. And we have been doing it in large part by ourselves. And that has meant the world to us. And it's also been an extraordinary challenge that we've taken to be, yes, an extraordinary blessing, but yet a challenge. And so there's a lot that we've been processing ourselves, a lot that we're trying to understand. And as I go along this journey, of course, you all know I try to do everything on purpose. And I want to invite you into my experiences. I want to make sure that we all feel like we are in it together, because yes, you can't be your best self by yourself. And with that in mind, that spirit and the theme of Day of Purpose 2021, which is reclaiming on purpose, I invite you to come along a journey with me as I'm reflecting on what is it that I need to really reclaim as I move into this next season of life. So the same questions that I'm going to get asked in a second, I want you to ask yourself too. And with that, let me introduce you to my incredible friend, one of my partners in Day of Purpose and so many other things in life, my homegirl, Callan Fleming. Callan. Oh my gosh. Callan is the founder of Spark Collective and Tablestakes, which you will soon be hearing a whole lot more about Tablestakes. Tablestakes is the only employer review website that's focused on parent experiences. And so there are so many things that are going to come out of that are incredible. But Callan is a skilled facilitator, certified coach, and does extraordinary work and strategy work with parents, yes, and with organizations that are trying to figure out, how do I create the right kind of environment for people to thrive, specifically people that are caregivers. So with that in mind, let me say hello to my girl, Callan, as she prepares to get me together. Yes, Callan and I are both coaches, y'all. But I told Callan, I was like, she told me, you remember this, Callan? Mm-hmm. I was like literally laying on my counter in the kitchen as we were talking. And I was like, I know I need to do some reclamation work. Yeah. I need to get myself to a place of recentering. And I knew I needed to be with a coach. And you said to me, what? What'd you tell me?
I said, let's use the Day of Purpose to do this.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's the perfect time. It really is the perfect time, Jovian. And I think there's something really special about how the Day of Purpose is always the perfect time, if you haven't noticed that. Right?
Right?
It is. And I feel like so many of us just feel like all of a sudden the world started reopening, or at least in our pocket of the world it did. Mm-hmm, and feeling like, wow, this was happening too fast, or I'm not really sure, something feels weird or something feels off about this, or I'm not really sure, I don't really sure I want to just go do what I used to do. And the temptation to just go back to normal and kind of pick up where we were, yet we've been through an individual and collectively transformative experience. Mm-hmm. And so there's this like, I sense it in every conversation I'm having of like, I don't know, attention or something, of just a question of like, do I really want to, how do I want to do this? And so like, let's use the Day of Purpose to do it. Mm-hmm. my dear friend Betsy the other day, we were on a walk and she was telling me how she had an opportunity to take a job, and her husband asked her, who do you want to be? Like you get to choose who you want to be in this moment in particular. And I think that's the anchor of what you're trying to do here. We're all trying to do here with Day on Purpose.
That's it. That's it. The key questions I just heard that I want to throw back out to anyone who's listening right now, the questions of who do you want to be? Right? Like who do you want to be and how do you want to do this?
Yeah.
That question, that's the one that really hit me, because I feel like I know who I want to be, but the how do I want to do this really calls in, like, what values do I want to keep centered? What are the boundaries that I need to put in place? Resurrect, reclaim, all of that. So yeah. Okay. So tell me, Callan, how are we going to do this?
Okay. So here's how we're going to do this. And it's really pretty simple. But it could feel pretty profound at the same time. I think it's important to start this conversation recognizing that we've been through something pretty heavy. All of us have had loss this year. And it is easy, and sometimes we feel encouraged to speed through loss. Just like leave it in the back and hope it just stays behind us. But all of that research and our life experience pretty much indicates for us that, like, we need to process, we need to feel through it, and we need to honor it. And so I'm going to ask you 4 main questions. That's it. But I think it's important to honor what you've lost this year. So I just want to put that to you. What have you lost?
Let me sit back on this. Okay. Y'all answer these questions with me too, right? What have I lost this year? Or last year? What I lost last year was a number of things, if I'm honest, which I always strive to be. I think there was... there's big loss, like physical loss, like there were family members who transitioned to the other side. There was the loss of the little bit of trust that I may have continued to have in government in some ways, or, like there's like a larger kind of question I continue to have there. There was not a complete loss or lack of trust in humanity, but I carry disappointment now. If I'm honest, like I carry some disappointment because the selfishness that I saw exhibited, the greed, the Hunger Games, it definitely darkened my spirit for a little bit. And of course that will not win, and I'm not going to let that last, but it definitely darkened my spirit for a bit. I would say really proximate and immediate to my life, I lost time with family and friends and beloved tribe that I always dreamed would be a part of my first year of becoming a parent.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My first year as a mom was done 95% of the time with just George. Which, thanks be to God, was extraordinary because of our foundation, our relationship. And, I'm really grateful for the fact that, like, it wasn't even until we started to think about reentry did we all of a sudden start having like little arguments. I think, I don't even know how that happened, but we made it through.
Yeah.
But it was like a my fairy tale of, a dream I've always had, like, I'm gonna be a new mom and my mom is going to be nearby all the time. And, George's parents will be able to just go see them. And, Georgie can meet Birdie, all that. It just did not happen.
Yeah.
And the whole baby stage is gone. And people that I always thought I would see pictures with Georgie as a baby in their arms, it literally did not happen. So, yeah. That's a lot of loss.
It's a lot of loss. And I really appreciate you sharing it. And it reminds me always that every loss matters. Like every loss matters. And I think from time to time, especially in the comparative mindset of what we went through this past year. If you didn't lose a loved one, for example, maybe you feel like your loss, your wedding, or for me, it was my maternity leave, my second maternity leave, where I felt confident as a mother and I was going to just command New York City, right? With a baby and a diaper, some wipes, and like free time, all those matter. And we can honor them, and we can like put space for them to live, and share that with each other.
Yeah.
Because I worry about that kind of culture of just toxic positivity of like, well, let's just forget that. Or my loss isn't as big as hers or his or theirs.
Yeah. 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 I received that a lot. I believe in so much truth of what you said, and the need for all of us to be able to express our loss, to hold it, to be able to share it in a really healthy way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So often after that experience, we both just took a deep breath, which I feel like is like a natural reflex. What I want to invite other people to do, or if you're having this conversation with someone else, is to actually practice taking a deep breath and letting it go.
Yeah.
Because we can transition now to another side of this, which is, what did you gain?
What did I gain? I think the loss helped me to gain perspective. So I do feel like there is a lot of purpose that's come from the pain that I will continually get to unpack. I'm not expecting myself to, have come out of the pandemic like, oh, now I can do all these things. No, I'm giving myself real grace. And I think that right there has been an extraordinary gift. I truly feel like I understand at a different kind of depth the extension of grace that I need and that I want to really try to give to other human beings more regularly. So there's that. Also, things I've gained: confidence.
Tell me more.
Right. And some of my friends are like, did you really need more? But
dude, I just thought that in my head. I was like,
I know you did. But real rap, I did. I mean, the road to being a new parent and a mother specifically, because that's just the only body I have and I can sit in, there's a lot of humility that comes along with this journey. Because can't stop, won't stop. Like one day your child's doing one thing and you're like, great, I know how to do that. And then the next day they're like, no, I don't do that anymore, or I don't care about that as much. And so, the humility of really going with the flow is something I'm trying to attach myself to. And yet, like I said, George and I can look back, right, over these, 17 months and say, yo, we did this.
Yeah.
And so I feel really confident in some of our abilities, not all, but some of our abilities. And I think I'm also feeling more confident that I'm confident in our relationship, our partnership, and my faith. I know what I know about God, who I call God. And that's only gotten more clear. So I'm really happy about that too. So yeah, I gained that. What do you think?
Love all of it. I love all of it. One thought about the confidence piece, because I'm telling you, I coach a lot of impressive people, and a lot of us struggle with confidence. And it is here I sit in this posture of admiring these people, and am amazed to hear a lack of confidence come from so many folks. And what it reminds me of is that confidence is often acquired by just taking the tiny steps and doing the little bit of practice to get just enough of a rep in that you feel good about it, but it wasn't too risky.
That's
right?
good. That's really good.
Just enough, and then over and over. But it's also acquired by looking back and being impressed by yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're ever, questioning your confidence and presentation skills, or pick the topic, just the first question I asked myself is, well, when did I last do this well? Or when did I last learn something new? I can learn it again. Right?
That's good. When did I last learn something new? Because that puts you in the posture of like, oh yeah, I can have a growth mindset, that I'm not new to learning.
Nope.
I can't. I mean, it perhaps could be harder this time around, but it doesn't mean that I am unable to learn.
Right.
I like that. Yeah, I really received that.
I also think there's something about, I can only speak from my experience of parenthood and my experience as a human, but for me, parenthood has been a confidence builder because I don't get a choice to tap out. Right? Like, can't be like, optional day, see you, and you really had no choice to opt out. You were locked for a long time in your first year of motherhood.
Okay, girl.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. You might have to book about it. I feel like you and George have a book in you or something about that. But that's like a different conversation for another time. But something about that, the like when you just have to show up and you just have to keep showing up, and there's no, because I love to tap out if I can. I was negotiating with my doctor during my second kid's labor about like if she could just like cut the thing out. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'll tap out of anything. I'll tap out of marathons that I'm running. Tap out of parenthood. And there's something great about that because it just shows you in other aspects of your life that you can keep going.
You can.
And that you are capable of so much more.
It's that part.
You are, right?
Yeah, I really received that. The marathon of parenthood has certainly started to be something in my brain that I'm recognizing like, oh, okay, girl, like this is, no one else is coming. And you actually don't want necessarily, you don't want to have to leave this role. Of course, a break is important. So I appreciate all of that and that help and support. But yeah, the marathon of it, I think, is real. So I love this question. Like, what did I gain? And I'm really glad, like, to hear myself, to be honest, of the main things. I'm actually reflecting on the fact that it's nothing tangible that I've.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Because I have seen, I heard a client mention this recently that they had an experience where an interviewer was asking like, so what's the new skill that you have coming out of the pandemic? And it's like, first of all, we're still in it. Second of all, survival. Like, let's just talk about the bar that our capitalist society would try to create, that you need to have come out of a traumatic situation. Now being able to produce something for others' consumption is ridiculous. That is not it. So I'm glad that like I spiritually rejected that, and somewhere around the line, like I just was like, nah, but I guess that reminds me right now that just want to encourage anyone who's listening to also that question of what did you gain, to not feed into any pressure that would make you think you have to have some type of tangible skill. Like I made a blanket, I can knit, or I opened this business, I can do this. It's fine if you came out healthy, or a little bruised and scarred, but you still came out. Like that's what we need to celebrate. So yeah, I am going to take my confidence and some new humility and this idea. It's interesting how they can still go together. And yeah, I'm gonna take those things with me and knowing my God in a new way. Ooh, okay. My brain is kind of pounding right now. What's next? I love being coached.
It's always a good coaching session if you walk away kind of feeling like you got, cut open. Okay, so the next set of questions, there's two more. And the next one is, what do you want to be different in this next phase? And can I put a qualifier on this real quick for you and for everyone else?
Sure.
I think we have a real temptation as humans to look to the future and think that we are setting a goal or a plan or a habit for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
That we are saying, I'm going to be this way until the day I'm gone. That we're getting married to whatever we want to be different. I hope that if we've learned anything in the past year and a half, it's that this thing that we're doing is in seasons. you and I talk about seasonality a lot. There is a time and a purpose for different things, and the comfort with maybe it's just the next couple of weeks that this question applies. Maybe it's the next couple of months. And by the way, you get a choice to change your mind. Right?
I love it. Yes. Yes. The seasonality of it, the choice. I can change my mind. That actually is freeing me up right now to really sit with this question. Because the truth is there's a lot of things I know I want to be different, but I know some of them hinge on each other. So I can't even, I think, address them all. But what feels most present right now is that I know what I want to be true or different in this next phase is only in relation to the last 16, 17 months or whatever, only because it connects to the loss. Like I did not get to spend time with family and friends.
Right.
I've not seen you since I was pregnant.
Right.
I don't want that anymore.
Right.
So what I want to be different is that I am very purposefully spending time with my loved ones as quickly as possible. Because Georgie's life is expanding. I'm evolving with her. George is evolving with her. And I think I kind of carried this, like, I don't know if it's a fear, probably something of just, man, we need to do this because you'll look up and next thing you know, you've kind of morphed and the relationship that once was won't, if you don't take care of it, I know it will die, sound so heavy, but it could phase out and it won't even be purposeful. Does that make sense?
It does.
So I just really want to get back to spending time with people I love. Get back. Yeah. I want to get back some time with them, get back time with you all. I want that to be different.
Great.
That's it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure out where to meet.
Hello.
Then my next question is the fourth question for everyone who's listening. And I love the clarity, Jovian. Like, let's just keep it specific to that one. It's a big goal. You got lots of people you love, right? Let's like focus in on that. What will need to be different for you to realize that?
Yes. It sounds like the last one in my core 4, like what needs to be true.
Yep.
In order for this to be realized. Well, so one of my best friends, IJ, calls me the boundary empress because she's always said you were like, I'm just really good about my boundaries. Now my therapist would recently,
I would agree. Yeah.
You would agree, right? My therapist would recently tell me not so much, which I appreciate, right? Because I mean, perhaps she knows some things that you all haven't seen yet. And so I'll let you in on it. Something that I'm realizing that snuck up on me, and maybe it was because of the last year of just having to go it alone so often, is that spirit of, oh, it'll take too long to get the help, so I'll just do it.
I'll just do it. Yeah.
That spirit kind of came up on me.
Yeah.
And I do not like it. Like I genuinely, I ask for help. Like Hollins always says, my ask language is very strong. Because I will nice you into doing. I am a voluntold, like apparently, but I do from like a spirit of like, I know your gifts, so I'm going to connect you to it, and you'll look up and be like, why am I doing this? I'm good at it, but still, I didn't want to. So I have to also watch that. But I need to check my boundaries again. Like they need to look differently, so I can spend more time with people I love. There's been like two things that are happening. There's a resurgence in my area of work that's, this, Callan, like people are banging down the door. I got more work than like my whole company can stand. And so there's like, there's a big part of our business is thinking about the scale and what do we want to look differently.
Yep.
But first, I've been answering the question of who do I want to be? Same, right? That question of like, who do I want to be in this new season? And to spend time with my family and my friends and loved ones, I know I do not actually want my work to dominate my life. Even as my work is so purpose-centered.
Yeah.
So I need to create some new boundaries around what that looks like, especially for travel. Like in the past, my work was so travel heavy and I loved it. And now I still want travel, but I don't want it to be the same way. And I think the sum of all this would say my boundaries have to start with a different kind of delegation. Because I'll just do it, Spirit. I'm telling you,
It's
it
heavy.
was so
Strong.
heavy. Yes. Yes. So I need to, and I know need to is poisonous phrase. So for those of you listening, that's another little tidbit. When you say need to, it stands in the future. So I am committed to exploring with you, Callan. So I'm putting this on your plate.
That's great. For those of our friends with us right now, that's one of the benefits of coaching is that all of a sudden you got someone on the hook to hold you accountable.
Right. I am asking of you to support me around the delegation piece.
That's perfect because I'm terrible at it. So I can't work on it together.
Yeah. I got to delegate some things with a new accountant. I got to delegate some new things in caregiving with Georgie. So
So let's talk about this. And I love those goals. And delegation is so hard for so many of us. It's both a skill and a mindset, right?
Yep.
And for high achievers and for highly responsible people, those are your strengths. Like that will be harder. The thing that I just want to mention here is I've been really into recently, like getting really crystal clear on what's the tiny, tiny next step you can take to be successful. Because what we're really talking about here is you've gotten yourself into a habit. Habits burn patterns in our brains. They burn patterns in our bodies, and they're hard to break unless we like chip away at them a little bit at a time. So what is like the tiniest thing you could do that you could commit to right now in this delegation, or whoever is, going along with us in this exercise? Think to yourself, what is like the tiny little thing you could do to your commitment to act differently?
I can do a lot of things. What I know you're also asking me is what have I actually committed to do? Right?
Right.
I can email that accountant.
Seriously.
Yep. When we hang up, I can email the accountants that I've been connected to and be like, hey, such and such referred me.
Yep.
I feel lighter as I knew I would, but that just saying that and knowing that's my commitment, I'm down.
Yeah. And you'll do it. And then you'll be motivated, and then you'll do the next one, and then you'll do the next one. And
yes.
That's it. So a couple things, Jovian. Thanks for playing. Thanks for playing.
I'm actually body rolling now because I feel the release.
I know, right? You do.
I feel so good.
I want to encourage folks who obviously to play along. And I really want to encourage folks to think about using this in all domains of your life.
That's good.
I think every relationship could use like a conversation like this, possibly with your immediate family. It could be a cool dinner table conversation, and your teams. And I know sometimes you might be in a culture where it doesn't feel comfortable to have these more personal conversations. I'd encourage you to kind of push on that. I think we've learned that we can be human at work and that we need to be human at work. And going through, yes, what have we lost as a team, but also what have you lost as a person, and really creating space for people to acknowledge that. Going through what you've gained, perspectives. Maybe you have a new system at work that's amazing. I don't know, but apply all of this to these domains, because I think the worst thing could be, and I say that without judgment, but could be us just going back to normal.
Oh, I agree.
And that didn't work. And it was a little out of control, at least for me. I don't want to get on a plane 3 times a week. I don't want to, I love having coffee with anyone. And if anyone wants to ever have coffee with me and talk about anything, I love doing it. We're probably going to do it over Zoom now. Because in New York City, it takes me an hour to get anywhere. You know, like these things are important. And I think just being mindful and purposeful and intentional in using this day of purpose to set that plan. And the holiday that I think it is, you know, the holiday, the day of purpose, to do that with other people could be really cool. You know, and the last thing I'll say is, I was talking to a woman the other day who leads a big group for women and parents at Google. And she had the best analogy. She said, everyone is coming back to work, coming back to the real world. And it feels a lot like maternity leave. You are a completely different person, but everyone around you sees the same old person. And they almost expect you to act the same way. But you're re-entering with new priorities, perspectives, experiences, skills, strengths, superpowers that need to be recommunicated. And everyone's doing it at the exact same time. I don't think we're going to ever get a moment like this ever again. So individually, what does that present for us? But collectively, what could that encourage us to do? Is some of the most exciting dreaming that I've been doing these days.
That is so beautifully said. And I am so grateful that I can really sit in this seat approximately to understand that feeling of reentry from a motherhood standpoint. But I think so many of us, regardless of what the last number of months have meant for you, that statement of we are all re-entering new. We are changed. Some of us perhaps more self-aware and knowing some of the changes. Others of us, we're going to be coming to terms with that for a while. And the thing that's also true is, like, our research has told us that there is very limited research in understanding the effects of this pandemic.
Right.
And we will not know for years to come all that has happened and can't put it quite into words. And so it really is on us day by day to take time, being graceful with ourselves, be in agreement with the environments that we go into, that we will be more gracious, that we will be more forgiving, that we will be slower at our pace. So we give each other space and time to bloom where we're now newly planted. Because there have been new seeds, there has been new water, there's all different kinds of things that we're cultivating. So I sit in that with you. I absolutely believe it. And this conversation has meant so much to me, Callan.
Me too.
I am grateful for this. So friends, community, on purpose friends all over the world, we are grateful that you joined us for this. You got to peek into a private truly private coaching conversation that we were going to have anyway. So we're grateful that you joined us for this. And we hope that as you are continuing to celebrate Day of Purpose and thinking about what this day means to you, how you want this whole season to transform your life in some way, shape, or form, no matter how big or small or anything in between, that you really do take our invitation to get real around the things that you perhaps lost, the things you've gained, what needs to be true if you shift things a little bit. And our invitation is always to share with us, because of course we deeply believe over here at the On Purpose movement that you can't be your best self by yourself. So just know you are in community with other people who are serious about this thing called life and the purpose that it has. Thank you all for being with us, and happy Day of Purpose.